Right, before we go any further, I do realise the camera's a bit squint and tilted, everything's a wee bit off, and also the light is shining like right in my eyes. That'll be sorted in the next video as such. I had to rush this one, this had to get made pronto, sorry about that. Well, it's that time of the week again, it's time to do a match preview. Celtic take on Livingston at Celtic Park tomorrow. Yes, we are again without 13 of our first team players. We'll talk about it all in the video, and this is weird. This is the first time I feel like I've sat down and done a match preview in a long time. You know, I've been streaming, I've been doing different things, you know, doing the podcast. You know, this is a bit odd, and yet Celtic are still shite. Right then, before the video starts, make sure to check out the top line of the description. You can download the OneFootball app. The OneFootball app has of course been sponsoring the channel for a few months now, so a big shout to them, and you can get involved by using my link in the top line of the description. It will give you everything you need in terms of results coming in this weekend, or news heading into the game, who will be playing for Celtic, considering we're missing so many players. Everything you need to know will be in that one place. It works on Android and iOS, so make sure to check that out, and let me know what you think in the comments below. Also, very quickly, can I please give a big shout out to myself? I am going to be starting to stream a lot more, doing different games, playing with a lot of different people, a lot of my pals, and you can find my Twitch account also linked in the description below, and that will have the profile there. It's official Ryan118. I'll be streaming tonight as well, playing a little bit of Football Manager over there, and hopefully to start something new as I start to go full time into YouTube and streaming as well. I'm really enjoying it, so make sure to check that out, give it a follow. I think we're already on like 250 followers, which is mad, so let's try and get to 500 as quickly as we can, and we'll keep building from there. And if you want to come watch me play Football Manager and other games, maybe Among Us and stuff, then yeah, down there. Right then, let's talk about the main thing we're here for, and the thing that is on the minds of all Celtic fans at the minute, and that is the game tomorrow. Well, you know what? I say it's on the mind of all Celtic fans at the minute. There's a lot of things on the minds of Celtic fans at the minute. Of course, Peter Lawwell came out the other day and gave an apology to Celtic fans. We spoke about the future of the club in that interview as well. He was talking about, you know, how we have to maximise our potential and keep fighting this tough battle and all that nonsense. Look, I've given my reaction to all of that, and if you've not seen it, it is on the channel to go and watch back. Me and my good friend Ryan McGinley spoke about it. It's really been a disastrous season, as we know, and this week has piled on even more to that. We've had that apology, we dropped points to Hibs, we've seen the under-18s team get put on furlough despite the fact we've spent probably around £200,000 on a trip to Dubai, which has resulted in us missing 13 of our first team players. It's madness, you know, you couldn't write it. It seems like a novel that someone would have thrown at you at the start of the season for a laugh. You know, we looked to be on track to winning 10 in a row, and that has just kind of collapsed, and along with that we have just produced blunder after blunder. And really it's quite simple to say that the guys at the top of the club, Peter Lawwell, Dermot Desmond, Bankier and all the rest of it, are really killing the football club at the minute with the decisions that have been taken. You know, it's just a joke, and it's sent Celtic fans into a really split situation where there is people who want to kind of back the manager, and people who, of course, like myself, want to see change at the club, and then ultimately left us in a position in the league where we don't have a lot of confidence heading into these games. And why should we be confident heading into the game against Livingston at the weekend? Let's have a look at Celtic first before we look at Livingston, right? We're heading into this game after a performance against Hibs which wasn't good enough. We relied on, once again, David Turnbull, who's been the main man. We head into the game, of course, with that on our minds. We drop points again, we fall even further behind Rangers, and Livingston head into this game, besides Rangers, the best formed team in the league. Martindale has came in there and absolutely transformed them, and we've got to go up and compete against that. What is that, 7-8 games on the bounce now? They have won. Unbelievable stuff from them, and they just look to be getting better, and they're not doing anything extraordinary, but this is a Livingston side which has proven in the past that it can cause trouble for Celtic. And it's already caused trouble this season for Rangers. You know, Rangers went to the Tony Macaroni and dropped points, one of the only games they dropped points in this season. They will come to Celtic Park fancying their chances. And they'll come to Celtic Park with the same mindset I believe Hibs came to Celtic Park with. And they'll go for this game. They won't sit back deep. I think they'll, quite rightly, try to exploit our weaknesses. And they'll try to exploit these players who are not used to playing first team football. Now, there's a lot to talk about in that itself when we get onto the team selection side of things. But right now, where is the confidence for me? Where is the proof that I can sit down and say I'm confident of Celtic going and winning this game? And this is where the kind of comments come piling in, and they get, you know, the most optimistic of Celtic fans who comment in the video and they'll say, this is nonsense, you don't really support the club, you've turned your back on the club, all this, that is utter bollocks, and I won't have it. I think it's just nonsense to put that suggestion in front of me. I am just working off of what the proof in front of me shows and the facts in front of me shows, and that is that Celtic aren't good enough this season, and with 13 first team players out, how can I be confident? You know, I'm just being honest about it. You know, I'm not going to sit down in front of the camera and say, oh, you know, I think Celtic have got a good chance, we're a better side than Livingston and we should be winning, we're at Celtic Park after all, because that's not the reality of it. You could have said that before Hibs on Monday night and we went into the game and dropped points once again. So where is the optimistic Celtic fan getting their proof from? Right? Where are they getting their belief from? Because right now, and I believe I speak for the majority of supporters at the minute, that belief is non-existent. And that's a big problem right now. There's no belief in the fans. And this is not blaming the fans by any means. No, not at all. There's no belief in the fans. You know, there's a real kind of... there's a lack of unity between the team and the fans at the minute. And that's because of what's been happening with the club and the club's dealings of things. This trip to Dubai was a monumental disaster and quite rightly has turned a lot of fans' heads on whether or not there's people fit for purpose at Celtic Park. And that is the reason why there is such a lack of belief. And there's no one to blame. You can't blame the fans. There's no one to blame but the people working over at Celtic Park right now. Because it's those situations that have put the fans in the situation we are now. So let me just quickly count up for you. Livingston go into this game in all competitions unbeaten in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games off the back of a 3-1 win against a John Hughes Ross County side, and before that a 3-0 win at Easter Road against Hibs. Now we just struggled against Hibs there, and we're having to be in the same situation. It's been confirmed now that Neil Lennon and John Kennedy will return to work on Monday, and some of the players will return over the space of Sunday and Monday. So there'll be some players that return on the Sunday afternoon, I imagine, and then some on the Monday. I wouldn't be surprised if they just chuck them all back in on Monday. What's the point in splitting it up? But nonetheless, you know, this Livingston side are right now rampant. This Livingston side have been surprising so many, and a massive shout to Martindale over there and what he's done. Look, we've touched on it in the podcast, Livingston's form and the way that Livingston have been playing. Martindale's came in and he's not done much. It's not extraordinary what's happening in terms of on the park, but they're getting the basics right. And they're doing the basics so well. And they're using players who looked under Gary Holt not good enough and getting the best out of them. And they will thrive under this situation at Celtic Park. They will thrive knowing that there's got to be, you know, under 21s players on the park and Shane Duffy on the park and all the rest of it. They will thrive in this. And they'll look to counter on mistakes. And they'll look to just, you know, ultimately counter-attack. I said earlier on, I don't think they'll just sit back. But of course there's going to be that defensive side to their game. But they will go forward. They will try and take every chance they can get to move in and get behind the Celtic defence. Exploit the high line of Celtic. Because we'll go in, we won't change. You know it for a fact. We'll go in playing the same system we did on Monday night with the same players and hope for the best. That is Celtic's tactic in a minute. It's nothing that's thought through. It's literally go out and do your best. That's what I'm getting from Celtic. I don't see any tactical approach to the game. All I'm seeing is that you know, we're going out and just hoping and wishing that things will go our way. And we're relying so heavily on that man in the middle right now, David Turnbull, the man who has changed the fortunes of Celtic's season. And you know what, it's fair play to David Turnbull. Right now I think he's shown that he's one of the best players in the country. Absolutely, I love him, I'm adoring him at this point, and he's just a joy to watch. But you know, the fact that we're having to rely on him is shambolic. You know, Sorrow as well, I'll give a big shout out to Sorrow, who's been brilliant as well since coming into the team. But in terms of moving forward and that spark in the middle of the park, you know, and that kind of creativity and the actual chance to score a goal is all coming from David Turnbull. So right now, you know, tactically, Livingston will be going into this game knowing they could be a better team and knowing they could get a win. It'll be good to discuss all of the game afterwards on the podcast. It should be live on Sunday. And it'll be good to do 3 things that we learned on Saturday too. Of course, it's a big opportunity once again for some of the younger guys, the likes of Cameron Harper, Stephen Welsh, you know, these players who were in the team, Connor Hazard. It's a good opportunity for these guys to go out and play more football. Hopefully we see a bit more of Karamoko Dembele as well. I really want to see Dembele get more minutes. I think it was a poor decision to leave him on the bench for so long. I think Celtic are really gambling with the future of Karamoko Dembele. I think that, you know, when he looks at these situations and the fact he can't get more minutes in this team, when we are forced to play players like him and he can't get more minutes, and knowing the potential he's got and knowing the teams who are interested in him, you know, he's not going to be interested in signing a new contract if Lennon continues to leave him on the bench for so long. But guys like Dembele, guys like Welsh and such, as I said, let's get behind them. Let's hope that they can give us some good performances and something to be positive about, knowing that the future of Celtic could be a bit brighter. But we need a big step up from what we've seen on Monday, because Hibs dominated the game for too long. We didn't look too threatening when we went forward. And Hibs, in the first 5-10 minutes, as we spoke about the 3 things we learned, they had about 5 or 6 corners in the first 10 minutes. It's shocking. We can't deal with these set pieces, and that's how we conceded our goals. We need to see improvements, and we've been seeing it game after game. But let's hope that these young guys can go out and give us something to be positive about after the game. I want to be able to sit down and do 3 things we learned and say, you know what, Cameron Harper, at least he looks a player. You know what, if that would be a nice thing to add to 3 points. But right now, it's hard to be positive. It really is, and that's the reality of it all. Anyway, that's my opinions. As for the score prediction, I feel kind of cheeky sitting here and saying that I think I want to predict a Celtic win. I feel like Livingston have shown over the past 8 games, and since they changed their manager, they are good enough to go and win this game. And they're good enough to get something, whether it be a point as well. I think they'll challenge Celtic to the very end. I don't think we'll be comfortable by any means. So I'm just going to go with, because I like to predict my team to win, I'm going to go for 1-0 Celtic at the minute. But I would not be surprised if Livingston takes something from the game. But aye, there's my opinions. That's everything you have to know. Like and subscribe. Look, we're doing amazing. We're nearly on 24k. As soon as we get to 24k, we'll be announcing a 25k giveaway on the channel. So please, get everybody involved. Get us to 24k, and then we can start the giveaway process. But until next time, I'll see you next time.